This week is jam-packed with excitement on campus as rivalry week is in full swing.
That's right, Lauren. We have more on the USC UCLA matchup.
Sports Scene starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Tyler Myerly.
And I'm Lauren LaBruna. The Trojans are headed into the final game of the regular season and broke into the college football rankings yesterday at 23. This week is also senior week, and these seniors didn't start in the best USC football culture before Clay Helton became the head coach. After practice yesterday, Helton touched on rivalry week and also this group of seniors.
This UCLA team, I love what Chip has done with them in the second half of the season. I think they have really improved. If you look at what they did at Stanford, Arizona State, and Colorado, to be able to win by 2-3 scores in those games, I thought it was ultra impressive. When you mention the names John Houston, I mean that's a guy that shows up to work every day. Michael Pittman, special, shows up to work every day. Christian Rector, those type of men, to have a chance to not only recruit them but to watch them grow up and not only become the players they are, but more important, the men they are.
Injury prone has seemed to be the reoccurring storyline this season. Tuesday's injury report highlighted that running back Vavai Malepeai was participating in full pads. He's still day-to-day, but it's looking good for game day. Tyler Vaughn's had a few reps in last week's game, and coach said he's still being eased in, but is looking better this week than last. Inside linebacker EA is day-to-day as well, and that one is still not close. With this being the final game, Kedon Slovis was asked about the noise surrounding Clay Helton's future and how the team has played through it.
I mean, we always play for each other whenever we get an opportunity to get out there, play for our teammates, play for our coaches, play for our families. So regardless of the situation outside of our building, we focus on us.
With everything USC football and rivalry week going on, we have Michael Loy and Cambri guests joining us for this week's Roundtable.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay, so first, let's talk about this game. What is the key to winning the game?
All right, the key for USC is going to be if the defense can contain the rush. I mean, the Trojans have struggled all season long with outside runs and just outside containment, and Kelly's going to be ready to take advantage of that. And DTR has had, less than impressive season stat-wise, but one thing he has shown is that he can scramble. And the Trojans just need to be ready for that. They haven't been able to handle mobile quarterbacks all season, and that could be a game changer this week.
I also agree. It's all about containing running back Joshua Kelly. He's had 136 yards per game over the last 4 games, 7 touchdowns. He's even able to tag 78 yards on Utah's top rushing defense in the country. So USC is really going to need to step up, especially on the defensive line, if they want to contain Josh Kelly.
You two nailed it, containing both the run defense as well as that quarterback containment. We saw it in their game against Utah. They contained Tyler Huntley really well, but in that game against Colorado, both the quarterback containment and that run defense wasn't looking too hot.
I agree, and UCLA I do not think will be an easy game for the Trojans, and although they had a rough start to their season, they definitely regained strength after that win against Washington State. So for me, I think it's all about the run game because UCLA is going to anticipate Kedon Slovis. So moving on, who should we be watching out for at USC? Who will be the MVP of this game?
I'm going to take someone on the defensive line. I think true freshman Drake Jackson is one to watch out for. He has 4.5 sacks on the season. He's forced a fumble. And UCLA Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he had 4 turnovers last week. I think Drake Jackson can get to DTR, and I think he'll be able to force a turnover this week.
He'll be scary this week.
Michael, I'm going to take another Drake, and I'm going to flip it on the other side. I'm going to go Drake London. I think we've seen him have such an impressive showing, especially last week, the 111 yards against Berkeley. And I mean, that clutch 45-yard play over their defensive back. Really, his connection with Kedon has just improved and improved and improved in these last games. And I think that UCLA is going to be his best showing yet.
2 impressive freshmen, that's for sure, but I'm going to go with players that are a little bit more experienced. Keeping it on defense, the safeties didn't look that great towards the beginning of the season, but when you look at Talanoa Hufanga and Isaiah Polamalu, they are getting hot right now. If they can keep it rolling, who knows, maybe Isaiah will get his 5th interception of the season this game. Those are going to be our MVPs.
And I'm going to take it toward the offense. I think everyone knows it's all Slovis with impressive showings, 400-plus yards for 3 games, but I'm going to say the MVP will be Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's shown his capabilities throughout, especially coming off this Cal game with 1,000+ receiving yards. He's up for multiple awards, which just proves how amazing he is. So I think he's definitely one to look out for.
And that's such a special spot for him to be in as a senior. And Keaton has had a great game. Let's not discredit him on that great few games. But you can't get those numbers unless you have the talented wideouts that you have down the field, like Pittman, like Drake London, who we saw get Pac-12 recognition this week. Those are really key players for USC to have on their offense. They have talented players on their defense, like Drake Jackson, like Talanoa, like Isaiah. Even OG is great when he's back there.
And it's just so unusual to see it on the top and the bottom end. I mean, we're all sitting around here. We've got upperclassmen, we have freshmen, we have 2 true freshmen. So I think that's the real difference.
It just has to be consistent. We have to see it throughout the entire game.
It has to last past the first quarter. That's what has to happen. And so hopefully that'll be a game changer for the Trojans.
Well, it's true that USC has all the talent they need. That is all the time we have for our roundtable today. Let's send it over to Daniel, who has more on the rivalry matchup.
Before Trojans fans get ready for this rivalry game Saturday afternoon, USC fans must keep an eye out for these key matchups. We start at running back. USC's Senior Christian has impressed in the short time he's been at USC with 364 yards on the ground for the season. That's 5.5 yards per carry. Still, Christian faces stiff competition with UCLA running back Joshua Kelly as he ranks 19th nationally in rushing. Kelly has rushed for a total of 939 yards this season, and with a good performance, he could easily eclipse 1,000 yards. Advantage, UCLA. We now turn to receiving, where UCLA's top 3 receivers of Kyle Phillips, running back Dimitri Felton, and tight end Devin Asiasi has amassed a combined total of 1,370 yards. Their Trojan counterparts, however, have been astonishing all season long, as the all-receiver trio of Michael Pittman Jr., Tyler Vaughns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown have combined for a total of 2,621 yards. Advantage, USC. We finally turn to our quarterbacks in USC's Keaton Slovis and UCLA's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Thompson-Robinson has had a decent season as he has thrown for 17 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Thompson-Robinson has been in charge of a UCLA offense, has recorded for 30-plus points 5 times this season. Slovis, on the other hand, has been a surprise this season with 24 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, filling in for an injured JT Daniels at the beginning of the year. Advantage, USC. The annual showdown between USC and UCLA will kick off at 12:30 p.m. at the LA Memorial Coliseum. The game will be broadcasted nationally on ABC. Now we turn to our reporter Jillian Carroll, who has a history lesson on this historic game.
The USC Trojans will take on the UCLA Bruins this Saturday at the Coliseum for the Crosstown Showdown. Every year since 1929, the Trojans and Bruins have faced off on the gridiron in an official rivalry game. USC leads the series 47-32-7. The Trojans have been dominating the rivalry as of late, winning 15 of the last 20 games. But this game isn't just about what's happening on the field. Seniors and juniors will appear in their last Coliseum game on Saturday.
Play to win, and that would be everything to go out with a win. I mean, we want that victory bell back, but we don't want to put too much on it to where guys are doing extra stuff, so we just want to go out there and do us.
At stake for the Trojans and Bruins is the Victory Bell, Crosstown Cup points, and of course, city bragging rights. The bell's original purpose was to ring after every Bruin victory, but after a group of USC students drove off with the bell in 1941, a treaty was proposed to redefine its purpose. USC would finally return the Victory Bell 2 years later, but only under the condition that it serve as the permanent game trophy to the rivalry.
But it's a critical part of our overall sense of pride and spirit. It is a rallying point. It's when we come together. And I think a rivalry week does that in spades, and that's why I'm excited to be a part of it.
The USC marching band has a long-held tradition of performing with the Song Girls on the Friday night before the game. With appearances from the Trojan football team, coaches, spirit leaders, and more, the rally gets all the Trojan fans hyped to bring the bell back to University Park. Whether it be at the Coliseum or the Rose Bowl, the atmosphere of these games is spirited. Seas of Cardinal, UCLA blue, and gold fill the stands. On the field, both USC and UCLA will step out in their home jerseys, a tradition that once again has become a staple since NCAA rules changed in 2008. Of course, there are other great rivalries out there, like Alabama-Auburn or Georgia-Florida, but none are quite like the USC-UCLA rivalry played out in the Southern California sun.
I am joined in studio today with Senior Christian Rector. Christian, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, it is UCLA week. What is the team mindset heading into this Saturday?
You know, we're looking for revenge based off of last year, you know, not ending how we wanted. And, you know, defensively, we're looking to, you know, have a dominant game and try to hold them to not score a touchdown and try to score a touchdown ourselves. They were able to run the ball 50 some odd times last year for 300 plus yards, and we take personal offense to that. So to win this crosstown rivalry and get that victory bell back in South Central would mean a lot.
A lot of young guys, and then not many of you guys vets. Is there any particular young guy on the defense that you've found that you've really mentored and that you're excited to see step up after you leave?
Yeah, I'd say Drake Jackson has been that guy. He's come in ready to play, and he's really produced a lot for us this season. And I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of his career here.
You, in your career here at USC, you've played 44 games, I think have had 104 tackles, 13 sacks. You got your first interception against ASU.
Yeah.
You got to play 3 full seasons in your first 3 years, and then this year you kind of hit a bump in the road with the injury. How testing was that, both physically and mentally?
Yeah, it's been very testing, but I'd say I'm built for it thanks to God and my support system that I have around me. And I think I went through a lot more emotionally last season, you know, not making a bowl game and having a tough season as a whole team. So this season I was just happy to be out there winning games and seeing my team do well.
This will be your last game in the Coliseum as a Trojan. What has been your proudest moment as a Trojan?
I mean, that's tough. There's been a lot of big moments, but I'd say winning the Pac-12 championship meant the most to me. That season was great, and we had a lot of great guys on that team. And yeah, it was a battle, and it was a testament to just that team and the people and that surrounded us. But yeah, I couldn't say one moment that really made my career. But
when you walk away from USC, what is kind of the legacy you want to leave here?
Yeah, just a guy that gave 100% every time and put the team in front of himself. And you know, I'm walking away with some hardware too, with a Rose Bowl victory and a Pac-12 championship.
Thank you for taking the time to come sit with us today. You can watch Christian and the rest of the USC Trojans this Saturday as they take on UCLA. Now we are going to throw it over to Cecil live at Tommy Trojan.
Tommy Trojan, and I have to report that it's cold and raining, which is something we're not used to here in Southern California. But I'm here camped out with the Trojan Knights, and it's something they're not going to let stop them. They're here guarding Tommy Trojan until this Saturday, until the game against UCLA. I'm here with their Vice President, William Mazden. William, how are you?
Could be better. You know, it's cold, it's wet, but we're trying to persevere as much as we can.
You guys have been out here since last Saturday. Tell me, how's it been? How are you making it through camping out on campus?
You know, it's really been kind of easy up until this point. It's nice hanging out with friends, being in the middle of campus. But last night was rough, you know. It gets cold and wet, you're sleeping, waking up to raindrops falling on you. But we're trying our best to get through it, putting up as many tents as we can.
Not sure you guys can see, but literally there's sleeping bags all around us. All the Trojan Knights, you guys come together and you make a sacrifice for Tommy Trojan. Why?
It's really in sake of tradition. You know, the Trojan Knights have guarded Tommy Trojan for the last several decades. You know, we're out here trying to make sure that no Bruins can come and mess with our beloved Tommy.
So I have to ask you, if you see a Bruin walk by, what are you gonna do?
If Bruins should be so unfortunate as to cross our path, I would say apprehend him and let DPS and the university decide what their fate should be.
So the game this Saturday against UCLA, I know you guys are ready. What are you expecting?
Oh, you know, we'll be out there, front row of the student section as always, painted up, trying to support our team as much as we can. We expect a big win from our team.
Thank you, William, and to all the Trojan Knights. And please try to stay dry out here.
Yeah,
thank you, man. I appreciate you. You guys heard it here first. I'm here in front of Tommy Trojan. Like I said, they're going to be here till Saturday. I'm going to send it back to the studio.
Gotta love the commitment from both the fans and the team. That was quite an impressive showing by the Trojans at Berkeley last week. So many highlights. It was really hard for us to pick just for one for this play of the game this week.
That's right, and Keaton Slovis was on fire yet again. Take a look at this incredible touchdown pass to Michael Pittman.
You know, it's quite impressive, Lauren, the production that has come out of this freshman, even not being named the starter at the beginning of the season. He's really persevered through that. It's great.
Totally agree. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com and on Twitter and Instagram at AnnMediaSports. We'll see you next time.